because just when you think there is no way out of this impossible situation is when God makes his move. Hey, my name's Trisha. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're just coming here for the first time, I invite you to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, and tell me where you're watching from. And I just invite you to stick around and check out some more of my videos. I just started this channel and I'm super excited to share more about my journey, faith, testimonies, encouragement, and prayer. Today I'm talking about what happens when we say yes to God and how we navigate a really hard yes, and like what that looks like as far as embarking on a new journey with God. God led me to Bulgaria, which is a country that I honestly knew nothing about and never in a million years would have expected to be living in. It's just like so far off of my radar and like what I would have picked for myself that it's just like, okay, this is clearly God. So when God brought me here, and I will share that whole story in another video, but when God brought me here, he told me that I'm to stay here and that he had plans for me here. And honestly, it's been extremely difficult because I haven't wanted to stay, and it has pushed me outside of my comfort zone in many ways. And it's also caused me a lot of sacrifice, cost me a lot of things that I didn't even realize were like important to me, because I've had to give up a lot of things that I never expected to give up. And yeah, it's been a really interesting journey. But you know, one of the scary things about saying yes to God when he asks us to do something that changes the course of our lives is like, how is this all going to happen? So for me, it's like, first of all, what am I doing here? Second of all, like, how am I going to make it here and start a new life here? And do I have everything that I need to like fulfill this mission that you're asking me to step into? You know, I really want to break this down into like a revelation that I received today. So this is how God works. So, you know, when you go backpacking, and maybe you're not into backpacking or like hiking out in the mountains, but I'm sure you have heard about it or seen videos or movies about it. So when people go on really long backpacking trips, they only bring the essentials. They only bring exactly what they need to survive on their journey. And they're usually not bringing like a lot of extra like comfort things and luxury items. It's like the essentials, the lightweight gear that's going to help them survive on their journey and protect themselves. So that's kind of how the beginning of the yes with God is. Usually he will strip us down to the bare minimum, like what we need to survive, because he makes it very clear that we have a choice, like to choose the world or to choose him, right? And it's like, if we choose the world, we are choosing luxury items. Oftentimes we're choosing comfort, we're choosing just the things that we want, the things that we desire. And oftentimes those aren't really in alignment with God's plan and what God desires for us. So he strips us down to the essentials. And we've got our backpack, and he's like, okay, go ahead and take the first step. You don't see the whole trail because you can only see what's right in front of you, right? And so you start walking. And oftentimes on these really long backpacking expeditions, especially if they are like a multi-day trip or like multi-week trip, people will have other people in their lives send things to stopping points along the journey, to send more supplies, to send more food, and to send more essential items. Also, sometimes people will stash items like water or food or gear ahead of time. So when they go back and hike that trail or begin their longer expedition, everything will be there. for them. So that's kind of how God works, as well as what I'm like just really receiving and feeling called to make this connection, is that he will not give us everything we need for the entire journey right away, right? Because that's just not how he works. We wouldn't have to have faith. We wouldn't have to cultivate faith and trust in God if we just like had everything with us. And it would be way too heavy and way too complicated, and we would get in our own way trying to figure it all out and figure out like, oh, what we're going to use first and what we're going to have, you know, what's our first meal going to be and what's our last meal going to be. And then that's when we start planning everything. So he's going to give us the essentials, just what we need, and then he's going to provide for us along the way. He's going to say, okay, once you get to this first summit point, I'm going to provide for you a resource. I'm going to open a door for you. I'm going to provide you with a certain person that you need to talk to. I'm going to bring you a certain amount of money that you're going to need for this next step. I'm going to open a door, whatever it is, right? I'm going to perform a miracle, whatever it is. But in order to get that provision, we have to keep walking, right? We have to just keep going and keep trusting that we are going to make it to that next stop, that next break, that next provision. And we might be getting very tired. We might grow weary. We might grow weak. We might grow even doubtful at times. We might grow fearful. And that's okay. God can handle that. God can handle that, but we have to bring it to him. And so when we're hiking, we get to share all of that with him. And that's another really beautiful thing that happens when you are out in the wilderness, is like you get to just talk to God, talk to yourself, talk to the people that you're hiking with. There's a lot of conversation that happens and a lot of revelation, a lot of breakthrough. It's like a really great time and a place to process things, just like being out in nature. So you're on your journey and you're talking to God the whole way. He wants you to talk to him. He wants you to pray to him. He wants you to be in constant contact and communication so he can know what's happening in your heart and he can know where you are along the journey, and you can be checking in with each other. He's your lifeline. And so then you get to the next stop and you're tired and you're weak, but you're still continuing on and you're still believing and you're still trusting and you're still having faith that God is going to do it for you. He's going to make something happen. He's going to show up. He's going to move, because he's not a God of stagnation. He's not a God who is silent. He is a God who is on the move. He is a God who wants to talk to his people. He is a God that wants to make things happen through his people and in his people. And the only way that he can do that and get through to you is if you are communicating back with him and if you are taking the inspired action and you're choosing to go on the journey. You're saying yes to the narrow path. You're saying yes to the rocky road. You're saying yes to his provision. You're saying yes to his will and his plan, even if it does not make sense, even if your map got wet in the rain and now you can't see the whole trail, even if your compass broke, even if your toes are digging into the side of your boot, even if you're on your last bottle of water and you have to ration it, you continue on. So then God provides for you. You feel relief, you feel renewed, you feel restored, you feel grateful. And then you feel even more inspired to keep going, and your journey becomes more exciting and pieces start to come together, and your yes feels even stronger within your heart, and you're just feeling so blessed and prepared for whatever comes your way. But then you start to see some storm clouds up ahead. And you start to get a little bit worried because, well, you just don't really want to get wet. And you just don't really want to deal with like a storm right now because you're trying to dance in the sunshine and there's like rain that you didn't expect, and now you have to navigate the rain. And your hiking partner is complaining. And then you see a bear up ahead and you have to navigate around the bear. And then your shoe breaks. And then your other friend that you're hiking with rolls their ankle. And things start to happen that you are frustrated by. And you're like, God, are you sure we're going the right way? You start to question God. You start to doubt God. Even though time and time again, he has proven to you that he doesn't break his promises. And he always follows through. So where is this coming from? The enemy will always try to rain on your parade, to steal from you, to confuse you, to delay you, to distract you, to destroy you just before your breakthrough. Keep going. Lean on God. These are the moments, these are the times where we become dependent on God. God makes us dependent on him through the storm. If we didn't have the storms, we wouldn't need God. This is where we find God. This is where we grow in our relationship, in our intimacy, in our trust, in our faith, in our conviction. This is where we learn how to rely on God. And this is where God really shines. Because just when you think there is no way out of this impossible situation is when God makes his move. And when God makes his move, it is suddenly, and it is miraculously, and it is abundantly, and it is so blatantly obvious that it was God, that no one else would ever get to take the glory from him. And this is when a rainbow comes out. And this is when you meet someone along the path who's an EMT that has a first aid kit and an extra pair of hiking boots that's your exact size. And this is when the bear just looks at you and then decides to walk the other way. And this is when you run into another person on the trail who has extra food that they want to share with you and just bless you with. This is how God works when you say yes. When we say yes to God, we have to just follow one step at a time and let him work and let him move and praise him and glorify him through all of it. This is his beautiful journey that he takes us on, and this is how he develops faith in us and dependency on him. Never give up on God. Never give up on his will and his plan for you. Even when obedience is hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's like the opposite thing that we want to do, keep your eyes fixed on Jesus and keep your eyes fixed on eternity in heaven with him. We are here for such a short time. This journey that we're on, this hike that we're on, it may seem long, it may seem just unbearable at times. It might be uncomfortable at times. But when we get to the end, when we reach the destination, which is eternity, heaven with the Lord, it's all worth it. And we get to look back and be so grateful for the choices that we made. We get to be grateful for the journey that we said yes to, and all of the people that we met along the way, and all of the ways that we grew along the way, and that we changed, and that we became better and more pure and more holy and more righteous and more sanctified. We will never regret this journey. We will never regret saying yes to God. Thanks for stopping by. I hope that this video blessed you and encouraged you in some way. And if it did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you again in the next video. May God bless you. May God keep you. And may God continue to provide for you along your journey and along your yes. Bye.